The full story updated in one go. Please take out your phone while you're on the toilet. The main story starts now. Met my rival childhood friend by chance on a plane, but encountered turbulence halfway. 1 second she was bickering with me, the next her eyes were red as she looked at me. Fong Yuan, are we about to die? Before I could even answer, she suddenly grabbed me and kissed me wildly. Suddenly, another loud bang. The plane had made a successful emergency landing. Jiang Rushua still thought we were crashing. She kept hitting me with her fists. Why won't you say you like me? Are you waiting for the next life? At that moment, everyone in the cabin turned to look at Jiang Rushua. I didn't say a word. Instead, I slowly pulled up the window shade. Why is it suddenly bright outside? Are we in heaven? Wait, this is an airport. Jiang Rushua's eyes suddenly widened, looking out the window in disbelief. Didn't we crash? The young girl's eyes blinked. Then she seemed to realize something. Who told you we crashed? We landed safely. So, Jiang Rushua, was what you just said true? Her face turned red, stammering. She looked a bit lost. Everything I just said was a lie. You must forget all of it. I thought I should show some concern for this rival who had a crush on me since childhood. Do you feel any trouble breathing? Or any other discomfort? Jiang Rushua froze. Am I actually caring about her? But when we parted back then, I had a look of pure joy on my face. A passenger nearby gave a thumbs up. Man, you and your girlfriend are so sweet. Jiang Rushua looked conflicted and guilty. You heard wrong. He's actually the person I hate most. The feeling is mutual. I nodded and said. Hearing Jiang Rushua say that, I felt much more at ease. When she said she liked me earlier, I almost thought she was going to turn into a softie. I still prefer her being normal like this. Jiang Rushua, Fong Yuan, I'm warning you, this was just a chance encounter. Our paths won't cross in the future, so don't get any ideas. Because there were no new flights until tomorrow. The crew arranged accommodation for everyone. The guy sitting next to us went ahead and got us a couple's suite. Arriving at the hotel, I swiped the card to open the door. Jiang Rushua followed hesitantly behind me. She had been struggling for a long time over whether to stay in a room with a big jerk like me. But if you don't stay with me, you'll have to find someone else to share a room with, like a 300-pound handsome otaku playing Naruto, or a high school girl crying on the phone with her family, or a strange woman with heavy makeup who looks like an international escort. Instead of sharing a room with those weirdos, you might as well stay with me. If I dare to do anything inappropriate, she will reward me with her fists. Upon entering, Jiang Rushua found the entrance covered in rose petals. These flowers are so pretty. I didn't tell Jiang Rushua this was a couple's suite. Otherwise, she would likely have a stress response immediately, drag me to the bed and beat me up. But the sharp-eyed Jiang Rushua walked to the bedside, and picked up the small card on top. Welcome to the couple's suite, you big baddie. And you said you didn't have any bad intentions. You even booked a couple's suite. The guy next door gave me the room card, go ask him. Besides, we've known each other for so many years. Isn't it normal to stay in the same hotel? Otherwise, do you want to live with those strangers? Fong Yuan, get lost. Flush with shame and anger, the girl pulled a bra out of her suitcase, and threw it right at my face. Unexpectedly, it landed right in my hand. Why didn't you dodge? Jiang Rushua's face turned crimson instantly. Her face felt hot, and a sense of shame filled the girl's heart. Luckily, it was a clean one. Give my things back to me. The girl bit her lip hard, and walked up to me huffily. She reached out and took back her clothes. Then she dashed into the other room of the suite. Taking a girl's item like this for the first time, I actually felt a bit excited. Could some weird hobby be awakening in me? Definitely not. I guess I need a shower to calm down. The sound of me showering echoed in the hotel bathroom. Jiang Rushua hid on the bed, feeling very shy. Ugh, that was so embarrassing just now. No, I can't let this happen next time. He was smiling so happily just now. He must have some secret fetish. But why are there 2 rooms in a couple's suite? Isn't one big bed enough? Jiang Rushua opened her phone, a bit confused. The answer to her question appeared on the screen. What does dry and wet separation mean? The naive Jiang Rushua stared at the term on her phone, completely confused. Then she typed those 4 characters into the search box. Ah, so perverted. A moment later, she threw her phone away. How can there be such an inappropriate term? Jiang Rushua, what are you doing? I'm finished washing. You should go wash up too. The airline just sent a message. The flight takes off again at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We need to sleep early tonight. Otherwise, you won't be able to get up tomorrow. But I felt the girl's gaze was a bit strange. Jiang Rushue, I'm warning you. I'm a decent young man. No inappropriate thoughts allowed. You came out without putting on clothes. And you say I want to take advantage of you. Clearly, you're the one being a hooligan. But right now, her eyes couldn't hide her guilt. Damn, why is this bath towel so thick? I can't see anything. And he looks like he has a good build. His abs must be even better than before. I looked at her wicked gaze. Surprised that you really do have inappropriate thoughts about me. Jiang Rushue, look in the mirror. Your face is as red as a monkey's butt. Jiang Rushue was driven crazy by my teasing. She almost couldn't resist the urge to throw the clothes in her hand at my face again. I'll sleep outside. You sleep in this room. Don't bother me later. After a word of warning, I walked out of Jiang Rushue's small room. However, I was actually just masking my nervousness. Both of us are 19 now. Even if something were to happen, it would be passionate and intense. It's perfectly natural. Hard to control myself. After Jiang Rushue confirmed her door was closed, she took her bunny plushie out of her bag. Stupid idiot Fong Yuan. Punch you, flatten you. Jiang Rushue punched the bunny plushie hard several times. She even poked the bunny's belly with her finger. Only then did she feel she had vented her anger. After venting, she tiptoed out of the room. When passing by my bed, Jiang Rushue saw me facing the other way. Did he really fall asleep so fast? Then she turned and entered the bathroom. Half an hour later, Jiang Rushue sneakily ran out of the bathroom. Why did you run out without a bath towel? And where are your clothes? Hey, weren't you asleep? Why are you awake again? Don't look. Close your eyes. Jiang Rushue ran back to her room, her face blushing red. I explained toward the closed door. The noise you made showering was so loud. Of course I was woken up by you. Right after I said that, Jiang Rushue, now dressed, opened the door. I'm warning you. You didn't see anything just now. If you dare to try anything tonight, I'll turn you into a eunuch. After saying that, she slammed the door shut again. The phone rang. It was a call from Jiang Rushue's cousin. I saw on the news that your flight made an emergency landing. Is everything okay? Everything's fine, cousin. But the flight was changed to tomorrow. But the airline arranged accommodation, yes. By the way, cousin, what kind of girl is my roommate for studying abroad? I'm not too sure either. You'll find out when the time comes. I'm a bit busy, gotta go. Jiang Rushue curled back into the blanket, feeling a bit anxious inside. I hope my future roommate will be easy to get along with. If she's like that big idiot Fong Yuan, my life studying abroad will be pure torture. A few rumbles of thunder sounded outside the window. I suddenly remembered. When she was a child, Jiang Rushue was most afraid of thunder. She must be shivering under the covers right now. I scratched my head. I thought I'd go over and take a look. I got out of bed quietly. I crouched in front of her door, but as soon as I pushed it open a crack, I felt something was wrong with the door. Oh, in the next second, I was pinned down by Jiang Rushue. My mouth was pressed right against her lips. The air in the hotel room went silent for several dozen seconds, until I was kicked away. Jiang Rushue, you she-devil, couldn't you be a bit gentler? You almost ended my bloodline. She got up angrily. What were you doing outside my room just now? Were you trying to sneak a peek at me sleeping? And you kissed me again. You creep, hitting on your childhood friend. I'll kill you. Jiang Rushue got angrier as she spoke. She grabbed me and started pummeling me. You can kiss by accident, but you can't just say whatever you want. I was trying to look out for you out of kindness. And yet you frame me like this. Besides, it was your mouth that accidentally bumped into mine. Hearing this, Jiang Rushue stopped chasing me. Fine, I'll be magnanimous and give you a chance to explain. So, what were you really doing there? I was just afraid of the thunder. I thought if you couldn't sleep, maybe something might happen. Fong Yuan, you damn sister con, get out. Jiang Rushue's face was full of shame and anger. She raised her foot and gave my shin a hard kick. Suddenly, there was a loud crash of thunder outside. This gave Jiang Rushue a real fright. Seeing this, I quickly changed my tune. Actually, I was afraid that the thunder would keep you awake. So I came over to check on you. But I didn't want to wake you. So I was just listening outside the door. How was I supposed to know you'd open it suddenly? By the way, why did you open the door so late? Don't tell me you were trying to sneak a peek at me sleeping. I looked into Jiang Rushua's eyes. Sure enough, I saw a hint of guilt in her gaze. How could I possibly do something like that? Don't talk nonsense. I have absolutely no interest in your abs. Jiang Rushua panicked instantly. Why did she mention the abs? Holy crap, Jiang Rushua. You really were up to no good. I said I wasn't. Stop being so full of yourself. Besides, you know, I stopped being afraid of thunder long ago. Now, it's just PTSD from the plane crash. Anyway, I'm fine. I don't need your fake concern. Jiang Rushua pouted. Her cheeks puffed out unconsciously again. She turned around and went back to sleep. The next morning, Jiang Rushua let out a sharp scream as soon as she opened her eyes. Ah! You! Why are you in my bed? And even under the same blanket? You have the nerve to say that. Last night, you insisted that the other bed was too hard. You were dead set on sleeping here. Jiang Rushua froze for a moment. She vaguely remembered how she had somehow ended up climbing into my bed last night, but she remembered they clearly had two separate blankets. The girl snapped, "Did you intentionally push my blanket onto the floor?" I was so annoyed I laughed. I tucked you in 3 times last night, but each time, within 2.5 minutes, you kicked the blanket away. Miss Jiang Rushua, I'd really like to ask you, were you swimming in your dreams? Or running a marathon? Jiang Rushua's rage suddenly deflated. She really did seem to have had a dream last night. She dreamed that we had both gone back to the old days. She was on my back, and whenever I didn't listen to her, she would kick me. But she clearly kicked. Very lightly. Why did even the blanket get kicked away? So, did I kick you last night? No, but you almost kicked me in the mouth once. Fong Yuan, you absolute pervert. Damn it, you're the one who moved your feet, and you have the nerve to call me names. Jiang Rushua, what are you hitting me for? I grabbed the culprit from last night in my hand. Jiang Rushua was startled. She pulled back instinctively. You really are a pervert. No wonder you haven't had a girlfriend for so long. I really don't know who could put up with you. Only your childhood friend like me would bother talking to you. Jiang Rushua jumped off the bed and went to wash up. Who said I've never had a girlfriend? I glanced at the game list on my phone. Not only have I dated those 2D paper girlfriends, but I've dated quite a lot of them. Exes and current ones. Adding them up, there's at least dozens of them. After I said that, the sound of a toothbrush hitting the floor came from the bathroom. Hey, Jiang Rushua, what's wrong? I turned toward the bathroom. A wave of murderous intent seemed to emanate from inside. In the International Airport Lounge, I handed breakfast to Jiang Rushua, but she turned away, looking like she didn't want to talk to me. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. We clearly haven't seen each other in 3 years. How could he have secretly dated other girls? She was still waiting for her first love. It's not fair, Jiang Rushua thought, feeling more and more wronged. She suddenly snatched a crispy grilled sausage covered in chili from my breakfast box, and took a huge bite. I leaned back tactically, trembling in fear. Then Jiang Rushua asked, "What were your girlfriends like?" With a grin on my face, I handed the phone directly to Jiang Rushua. On the screen was a fair-skinned beauty with long legs, stunningly beautiful, with an elegant aura, even holding a magic staff. A slow question mark formed in Jiang Rushua's mind. This is your ex-girlfriend? Jiang Rushua looked at the beautiful 2D older sister before her, and fell into a deep silence. Just 1 month ago, she had even done a cosplay of this character. Do you actually like this character? I shook my head. Not an ex-girlfriend. She's my ex-girlfriend. Don't forget, there are 10 exes. Then I pulled out another character card to show her. You shameless pervert. You actually like my wife. At this moment, Jiang Rushua really wants to kick me to death. Unfortunately, we are in a public place, and she doesn't dare. The exasperated girl's eyes darted around. Her gaze flickered. She snatched all the breakfast out of my hands. You're not allowed to eat breakfast. Go let your 2D ex-girlfriend buy you breakfast. Judging by your tone, me being single for 19 years, seems to make you very happy. Who's happy? I'm not, I'm really not. Jiang Rushua buried her head, her face flushing red, but she couldn't seem to hide the curve of her lips. I've actually never been in a relationship, which means, my first love, first hand-holding, first hug, first kiss, and first touch are all still intact. In fact, several of them have already been taken by him. Jiang Rushua, why are you blushing? Seeing this, I had a strange expression on my face. Don't just talk about me. You're not going abroad just to find some long-distance boyfriend, are you? I'm a pure and innocent girl. I haven't even held a boy's hand, okay? You can't hold hands in an online relationship anyway, and you've clearly held mine. You don't count, yours are paws, not hands. Innocent childhood friends, bickering and playing around non-stop. It wasn't until the moment of boarding that we finally signed a 10-hour ceasefire agreement. Fong Yuan, I think I'm a little scared. Can I hold your hand for a bit? The plane engines roared to life. Our hands seemed to be under a magic spell, gently and softly intertwining. Before long, our plane successfully landed at London International Airport. I poked the girl's arm beside me. We're here already. Jiang Rushue rubbed her eyes groggily. Fong Yuan, you're taking advantage of me again. Having just woken up, Jiang Rushue vaguely felt someone poke her arm just now, and even poked her waist. She immediately questioned him huffily. I beg you, speak like a normal human being. I took both mine and Jiang Rushue's luggage down from the rack. You just slept on my shoulder for over 5 hours. At a rate of 50 yuan per hour. You owe me 250 now. You're so expensive. Jiang Rushue bit her lip guiltily. She glanced at my shoulder, which seemed to be slightly wet with drool. If you don't have the money, you can pay me back with something else. I said with a smile, my gaze shifting downward mischievously. You rotten scoundrel, nothing good ever comes out of your mouth. Jiang Rushue rewarded my shoulder with a punch. Then she opened her phone, and saw a message from her cousin saying she had arrived to pick her up. Seeing that it was time to part, I quickly asked for her phone number. Who wants to tell you? We agreed to go our separate ways after getting off the plane. I don't want to give it to you so easily. Fine, don't then. One less burden for me. Goodbye, Fong Yuan. Get back here. Jiang Rushue huffily snatched my phone, and quickly typed in her number. I curled my lips into a smile. As expected, reverse psychology is the way to deal with Jiang Rushue. You can't spoil this stubborn kitten. At this point, Jiang Rushue's eyes were getting a bit red. She looked at me piteously, as if she might cry at any moment. Do you really think I'm annoying? If you really feel that way, then let's really stop contacting each other. Hey, wait, are you actually crying? I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. Call me if you need anything. But I'm in a shared rental, so don't call me too late. I'm afraid my roommates will misunderstand. I'm immune to almost everything, but I can't handle girls crying. Huh, you fell for my fake crying. Lulyalu, Fong Yuan. I'm telling you, if you bully me again next time, I'll cry in front of everyone, so everyone knows what a big jerk you are. I suddenly changed the subject. Do you have enough money? If you still can't afford to eat, do you want me to transfer another 1,000 to you? Jiang Rushue froze. What 1,000? What on earth are you talking about? Xiaoxue, you can't even afford to eat. Why are you asking your classmate for money? A fragrant breeze drifted by. Sister Xia. Jiang Rushue's eyes lit up. She jumped and hugged her cousin. Xiaoxue, did you spend your money on male models again? How many times have I told you? Looking at other guys isn't as good as looking at your handsome childhood friend, right? She turned and said to me, I'm so sorry. The 1,000 yuan Xiaoxue owes you. I'll transfer it to you. As Mu Xia spoke, she actually transferred 1,000 yuan to me. Jiang Rushue was completely stunned. Sister Xia, stop talking nonsense, okay? I've never done what you said. She realized Mu Xia was playing a prank. Her face immediately flushed with embarrassment. What if I took it seriously? She hadn't done it at all. At most, she just had a little interest in my abs. Mu Xia's lips curled up. Jiang Rushue, in these 3 years without my supervision, you've picked up this kind of hobby, huh? Jiang Rushue said in a panicked tone. None of your business. Anyway, I'm not interested in his abs at all. Why mention my abs again? I had a look of horror on my face. You didn't really peek last night, did you? I regretted it as soon as I said it. Jiang Rushue's eyes widened too. Both of them slowly and stiffly turned to look at Mu Xia. Oh, did you two sleep together last night? Now Mu Xia's expression turned strange too. The ship is real. Mu Xia showed a suggestive smile, leaned in, and said, Little Fong, Sister Xia, has a classmate who sells small balloons. High quality, absolutely safe. Contact me if you guys need any. Order at cost price. Seeing Mu Xia's expression, Jiang Rushue cried out in alarm. Heaven knows what terrible things she would say to me. That Fong Yuan, Sister Xia and I still have to eat together. Wait for me. By the time I snapped out of it, the two girls had already distanced themselves from me. Jiang Rushue, which school are you at? Seeing that she didn't answer, I shouted another reminder. Be careful with your roommates. International students come from all walks of life. You might run into someone with bad intentions. Then, I felt a tap on my left shoulder. I turned around and saw. It was my cousin, Shihao. Did the sun rise from the west today? Cousin, you actually came to pick me up in person? Shihao looked at me with great interest. Did you run into your little girlfriend on the way? You're overthinking it. Don't you know Jiang Rushue? A rabbit doesn't eat the grass around its own burrow, unless she wants to eat me. Bro, how's the apartment sharing situation going? Did you find a roommate for me? As long as it's not someone trying to chase me. I have no other requirements. Don't worry, the roommate I found for you is a great person. He won't try to mess with you. Shihao patted my shoulder. He gave a meaningful smile. Then he led me to the entrance of the shared apartment. I've got something to do, I'm heading out. Your roommate probably hasn't arrived yet. Go ahead and get familiar with the place yourself. I nodded and walked into the lobby. I handed my passport and visa to the front desk. The environment here is very different from back home. To be honest, the living conditions are a bit worse. This apartment seems quite old, but I like the quiet atmosphere around here. A blonde girl with wavy hair at the front desk greeted me. After looking at my information, she handed me a contract. I looked at the roommate's name written on it. It says my roommate is Sherry, clearly a woman. I frowned and dialed my cousin's number. Bro, that roommate of mine is a woman. Did you see her real name? There is no real name. Isn't that a very common Western name? Besides, bro, I really don't want to share an apartment with a girl. It's a lot of trouble. Fine, I heard the whole room will be covered in hair. And if she suspects me of having ulterior motives, that'll be even more troublesome. Forget it, let me see if there are any vacant rooms. After I hung up the phone, I prepared to choose a room again. At the final step of the lease cancellation registry, I suddenly froze, staring blankly at the person who just walked in. Jiang Rushue and Fong Yuan looked at each other in silence. After a long silence, they both said at the same time, "You live here too?" Jiang Rushue turned around to ask her cousin, only to find that her cousin, who was standing right there, had vanished. Then, I covered the contract in my hand. I didn't want to explain to Jiang Rushue why my contract was for sharing with a girl. This situation is too awkward. I don't want to be beaten to death by Jiang Rushue yet. Then, a bold thought occurred to me. If I shared with Jiang Rushue, it might not be such a bad idea. Aside from the risk of being kicked to death, everything else would be fine. Hello, I'm Sherry. Can I see my contract? The blonde girl nodded. Hearing this, I turned around in disbelief. You are that Sherry? I took back the cancellation form I had just filled out. How did you know? Jiang Rushue was also stunned. Because my roommate's name is Sherry. Fong Yuan, you actually looked for a girl to live with? You're shameless. You pervert. Jiang Rushue's voice grew several times louder. Seeing her act like a shrew, I was a bit speechless. Jiang Rushue, can you stop using those words every day? You make it sound like I actually did something to you. Aren't you also looking to share with a guy? If I'm a pervert, then you're no good either. I don't care, you're just a pervert. Jiang Rushue's little fists kept hitting my shoulder. 5.5 minutes later, Jiang Rushue and I were staring at each other. We both fell into silence. It's dark now. It's neither convenient nor safe to look for a place at this hour. The fact that the receptionist was willing to work overtime to register us was already quite rare. However, there was only one double room left in the apartment that hadn't been rented out. All the others had at least one person already living in them. After a long silence, we both said at the same time, how about we just make do? We're in a foreign country and don't know anyone. If I lived with some huge guy here, I'd be afraid of getting messed with. Seeing how in sync the two were, the receptionist pulled out her trump card. We offer a 10% discount for couples, and half price on utilities. The girl gave a sweet smile. The door to room 013 on the second floor was gently opened. I turned on the light in the entryway. Behind me, Jiang Rushue said, Fong Yuan, you didn't actually sign that couple's agreement, did you? I did sign it. Why not save money if I can? Didn't you see? If we get a marriage certificate, we get 3 months rent-free. Even getting it back home counts. You're way too shameless. Fong Yuan, who agreed to sign this with you? And what's this about getting a certificate? I'd like to see which poor soul will end up marrying a wolf in sheep's clothing like you. Jiang Rushue said as she took off her shoes. My nose twitched. Where is this fragrance coming from? It seemed like I smelled this when I was sleeping last night too. Then, I shifted my gaze to Jiang Rushue's socks. Could the fragrance be coming from those socks? No way. What kind of strange things am I thinking? Fong Yuan, we're roommates from now on. We must set some ground rules. I replied, sure. I was just worried you'd do something bad to me. Heh, I wonder who would do something bad to whom. From the moment you walked in until now, you've been staring at my feet. You're about to drool all over the floor. Just as she was taking off her socks. He felt like I was peeking. Why are you looking at my feet? So embarrassing. Jiang Rushue felt even more awkward now than last night. The atmosphere in this apartment isn't right. Are you kidding me? Am I the kind of person who has that kind of hobby? You're the one who's been staring at me. I'm warning you. You're not allowed to touch my abs. Don't expect things to be like they were before. I also looked on guard. Stop being so full of yourself. You narcissist. Okay, that's the first of our 3 rules. There will be 100 more later. Jiang Rushue wrote a note and shoved it into my hand. Then she ran off in a flash. She's gone. I'm going to take a shower. No peeking. Jiang Rushue shut the bedroom door with a click. I looked at the note Jiang Rushue had just shoved into my left hand. In the apartment, the older one must always give in to the younger one. Jiang Rushue, how is this fair? The agreement is invalid. Blah blah blah, I can't hear you. What are you saying? I don't understand. Jiang Rushue's triumphant laughter came from the bathroom. It's invalid anyway. I couldn't be bothered with her. Just then, a scream came from the bathroom. My heart tightened. I rushed to the bathroom door in a few strides. What's wrong? Quick, come in. Through the bathroom door. Jiang Rushue's voice sounded a bit pained. I gritted my teeth and was about to open the door. But then I suddenly remembered what Jiang Rushue had just said. You're setting me up, aren't you? I was both shocked and angry. Fine, Jiang Rushue. Haven't seen you in 3 years. And you've learned some dirty tricks, huh? Knowing Jiang Rushue's tactics, she might be recording this. If I dare open the door, Jiang Rushue would really record it, and then send the video to her dad. That's just cruel. Come in quickly, I accidentally fell. It hurts so much. Now I couldn't just sit still. I quickly opened the bathroom door. I didn't see any blood on the floor when I entered. It proved she wasn't seriously injured. Jiang Rushue was sitting on the floor. Her eyes were red. She said the slippers were too slippery. She took a fall. I checked carefully. Fortunately, it was just a sprained ankle. Then I used a towel to dry the water around her. And I brought over a clean bath towel to wrap around her. Wait, why didn't you take the chance to kiss me, and then carry me straight to the bed? Jiang Rushue murmured dazedly to herself. What did you say? I was looking for her clothes, and then I vaguely heard that sentence. It almost gave me a heart attack. Oh, nothing. I just suddenly remembered. That's how it's written in the novels I read. Jiang Rushue didn't dare argue with me now, in case I actually came over. And then, whoosh. No, no, no. Jiang Rushue, what kind of novels do you usually read? I was about to die of frustration. I'm not unfamiliar with the plot Jiang Rushue mentioned. A friend of mine loves watching those healthy romance movies. And they often have plots like this. It's just a normal novel. Jiang Rushue pouted guiltily. The kind where you play games with your childhood friend when you're little, and still play games with him when you're grown up. Isn't that normal? You jerk. You don't understand. Put your clothes on, then I'll come back in. I found Jiang Rushue's clothes hanging on the hook, but as I held the clothes in my hand, my heart couldn't help but skip a beat. I looked at the clothes in my hand, then looked at Jiang Rushue. Why is there blood on them? Wu Fongyuan, I'm finished. I'm definitely going to die. Jiang Rushue made a frightened sound. That seems to be my blood. My face stiffened. Get dressed quickly. It's a bit too hot in this bathroom. I'm going out for a moment. After handing the clothes to Jiang Rushue, I shut the door quickly as if I were running away. What's with him? So weird. Jiang Rushue looked at herself, then at the clothes in her hand. Wait, a nosebleed? She suddenly realized and lifted her head, her face turning bright red within seconds. Fongyuan, what on earth were you thinking just now? The girl's embarrassed and angry voice echoed from the bathroom to the living room. 15 minutes later. I told you. It was just too hot in the bathroom. Don't get the wrong idea. On the living room sofa. I was sweating as I applied an ice pack to Jiang Rushue. Lunching has food delivery too, but at this hour, it's expensive and slow. I ran downstairs and was lucky enough to find a pharmacy that had ice packs. I bought the ice pack and medicine, and ran back panting to help ice Jiang Rushue's sprained ankle. You're just lying to me. It was even hotter when we showered at home before, but I never saw you get a nosebleed then. Jiang Rushue bit her lip. Her cheeks were flushed. The feeling of being touched by him is so strange. I was holding the ice pack with one hand, while my other hand happened to be holding the sole of her foot. It made Jiang Rushue feel a bit ticklish, but she was too embarrassed to tell me. She felt a bit guilty. Maybe she really shouldn't have thought so poorly of me, even though I'm a big baddie. I was panting and sweating from buying medicine just now, and now I'm still icing her foot. I probably won't be thinking about anything weird anymore, right? I'm a man of integrity. Besides, with your plain figure, you don't really think I'd have any designs on you, do you? I carefully continued the ice pack treatment. At this moment, I felt Jiang Rushue was truly different from before. Her habit of scolding people hadn't changed, but somehow, she now felt like a sweet, soft, and cute girl. She's surprisingly similar to a 2D waifu. If I could trick her into being my wife, maybe so. What's going on? Something feels off today. I actually had such a terrifying thought, probably because I got drunk on cola earlier. The next morning, while I was washing up, I saw Jiang Rushue walking out in a daze. She said we are the best childhood friends. I should take care of her. Seeing that I didn't agree, she pretended to cry. Someone in the hallway knocked on the door to ask what was wrong. I quickly opened the door and explained there was an idiot in the room. Everything's fine. Then I sent them away. Seeing this, Jiang Rushue said she'd ask Sister Xia to pick her up, and that she'd never live with a jerk like me again. Helpless, I had to squat down. Get on, quickly. I'll carry you downstairs. The small apartment only has 5 floors, and no elevator. Just now, from the second floor, as I carried Jiang Rushue down, it felt completely different from when I used to carry her. Is carrying a girl really this soft? We went to register after arriving at school. I met a boy who looked Chinese. His name is Su Kuan. He said Jiang Rushue and I are a match made in heaven. Hearing this, Jiang Rushue said she hates me. Upon hearing those words, Su Kuan directly invited me to a singles party. Jiang Rushue immediately got anxious and forbade me from going. She said if I went, she would never talk to me again. I asked her why. She said nothing. Her eyes just turned red from anxiety. But one day when I came home, I actually smelled a delicious aroma. I walked into the kitchen and found Jiang Rushue cooking. Although she looked clumsy, the food she made smelled pretty good. I remembered mocking her before for not knowing how to cook. She even said she'd find a boyfriend who could cook in the future. We were still arguing while eating. I said she made so many dishes. It wasn't meant for just one person to eat. Besides, I've saved her twice. She should treat me to meals for at least 6 months or a year. She glared at me. She said nothing. I still wanted more after finishing the meal. I thought about mooching meals off her every day. After all, the canteen abroad this week has been making me feel miserable. But looking at her now, it doesn't seem very likely. But after I packed up and walked out of the kitchen, she suddenly showed a cunning expression. Since you've eaten my food, shouldn't you agree to one of my conditions? Jiang Rushue winked mischievously, making a face like a little kitten. She said since I ate her food, I had to accompany her to the freshman ball. I laughed. I know I'm charming, but you don't have to fall in love with me so fast. We only reunited a week ago, and you already want me to be your partner. You really are a big jerk. I only cooked for you to thank you for taking care of me this week. And you actually say that about me. If you make one more smart remark, I'll shove my foot in your mouth. Because you have to dance with a boy at this ball. If you don't agree, I'll have to go with some other guy from the faculty. Gosh, your faculty's event planner must be crazy. Our finance faculty doesn't even have a freshman ball. Fine, I'll go, okay. Then let's dance like we did when we were kids. Anyway, I know how to ballroom dance. Put your hand on my waist first. Move a bit faster. Gosh, stop dawdling. You're a boy. Don't get any dirty ideas. I just want you to teach me how to dance. That's all. After living together for a while, We reached a simple living agreement. She would cook main meals when she was free, while I'd be the assistant, wash dishes, and make breakfast every day. One morning, I finished breakfast and woke up the sleeping Jiang Rushue. I told her it was time for the freshman ball rehearsal. Jiang Rushue immediately bounced out of bed. Sitting at the dining table, she saw there was steak for breakfast, and asked if I had won the lottery. I said it was to repay her for cooking every day, and that I'd recently landed a big contract. She curled her lips, saying she was also a published author. She told me to call her older sister, and she'd look out for me at the publishing house. 10 minutes later, the girl stood at the door, blushing as she asked me to carry her out. I was a bit puzzled. Is your foot still not better? Hearing this, she paused and said, No, it's not better. How could it heal so fast? I squatted down, reaching my hands back. She climbed onto my back contentedly. She asked if after her foot healed, could she still let me carry her? I said it would depend on her behavior. She bit her lip, her head leaning gently on my shoulder, facing the sunlight. A faint, sweet smile quietly appeared on her lips. Before long, I brought Jiang Rushue into the auditorium. A girl saw us coming, and rushed to Jiang Rushue's side. Her name is Xia Yutong, Jiang Rushue's new best friend. Wow, Xiao Shui, is this your boyfriend? He's so handsome. Jiang Rushue looked surprised. Yutong, you actually think he's handsome? Holy crap, Xiao Shui, are you blind or am I? Xia Yutong made a super exaggerated expression. This is a total hottie. Look at this face. Look at this nose. Look at this physique. How is this not handsome? Xiao Shui, what's your relationship with him? Is he your older or younger brother? Can you help me get his contact info? Good sister, you are my best sister in the world. Xia Yutong had a look of infatuation. Xiao Shui, I really like this one. Hearing this, Jiang Rushue's eyes widened immediately. She looked at Xia Yutong with a vigilant expression. He is my childhood friend. What are you afraid of? Turns out he's your destined husband after all. Oh, there are so many handsome guys in the world. Why don't any of them belong to me? Xia Yutong was just joking at first, but after finding out they were childhood sweethearts, she still made a sad face from being third-wheeled. How did childhood sweethearts become husband and wife? Fine, I wish you two have a baby soon. Bye, I'm going to do my makeup too. Sigh, it's a pity my dance partner is a girl. Boring. Xia Yutong walked away listlessly. Have a baby soon. Jiang Rushue froze for a moment. She bit her lip, and fell into a memory. When I came back and saw Jiang Rushue dazed, I asked her what she was thinking. She said she wasn't thinking about having a child with me. I was shocked to hear that. Before I could react, Jiang Rushue pulled me onto the dance floor to start rehearsing. A few days later, cousin number 10 asked to meet me at a cafe. He asked how I was getting along with my new roommate. I grumpily said I was screwed over by him. Every morning, I have to carry Jiang Rushue out on my back. Neighbors even misunderstood that I had something wrong with my head. Number 10 teased that Jiang Rushue and I were already like a couple. If I worked a bit harder, he could sit at the head table of our wedding. I just thought he was joking. At home, Jiang Rushue made Westlake vinegar fish, my childhood favorite. I tasted it in surprise. One bite, and I thought it was even better than her mom's. I asked if she specifically learned to make this dish. She said she learned it for herself. I frowned a bit in disappointment. Jiang Rushue muttered that it didn't taste as good as her mom's. I ate the fish in big bites. I said it was the best meal I'd had since going abroad. Jiang Rushue looked at me. Suddenly, she was slightly stunned. She bit her lip. A faint blush appeared on her cheeks. I was silent for a while after the meal. Suddenly, I looked at Jiang Rushue, and asked, when we parted 3 years ago, were you also a bit reluctant to let go? Jiang Rushue's heart skipped a beat. She stuttered in reply, At that time, I was very happy. I even smiled in my dreams. Jiang Rushue bit her lip. Blushing, she remembered crying like a fool that night. No, I definitely can't let you find out. You go wash the dishes. She then hurriedly pushed me into the kitchen, until she heard the sound of water from the sink. Jiang Rushue finally let out a sigh of relief. She leaned against the wall, relishing the slightly ambiguous conversation we just had. After a while, she suddenly realized something. She was slightly stunned. Wait, what you just said. Also a bit reluctant to let go. Why did you say also? Jiang Rushue opened her mouth. Her breathing quickened uncontrollably. Did you eat yourself, stupid? Standing there like a wooden post. I came out of the kitchen after washing the dishes. I immediately saw Jiang Rushue looking very strange. Her face was so red. Recently, whenever I looked at Jiang Rushue, I couldn't help but gaze at her for a few extra moments. This little girl who grew up with me, after only 3 years apart, had suddenly become such a beautiful girl. The only flaw was her sharp tongue. Fong Yuan, everything about you is fine, except for that mouth of yours. The girl, her thoughts exposed, looked at me with feigned anger. Your face is so hot. Let me check. Do you have a fever? As I spoke, I placed my hand against Jiang Rushue's cheek, but she just bit her lip gently, and, for some reason, didn't pull away. Time seemed to freeze for a moment. The boy and girl could clearly hear each other's breathing. Feeling the atmosphere becoming awkward, I nervously pulled my hand back. Nini, if you have a fever, I'll go buy you some medicine. I really thought Jiang Rushue had a fever. Otherwise, why would her face be so hot? Even my freshly washed hand was warmed by her burning cheek. I'm not sick. I don't need medicine. Jiang Rushue took several deep breaths. What is Fong Yuan doing? The blushing girl's heart was filled with shyness. Hadn't it been a long time since we were this intimate? Images from the past flashed through Jiang Rushue's mind. There's always a sweet period between childhood sweethearts. Back then, the two of us talked about everything, as if the whole world belonged only to us. Words like, I like you. Whether it was you or Jiang Rushue, we had heard them from each other countless times back then. So, can those days when we weren't shy at all, and expressed our feelings without hesitation ever return? If you don't have a fever, then you're blushing because you're just stupid, aren't you? My words pulled Jiang Rushue back to reality. Fong Yuan, you big idiot who doesn't understand romance at all. Jiang Rushue was extremely annoyed. The pink bubbles in her head vanished instantly. Humph, as I thought. It's impossible to get the current you to say you like me. I hate you, I hate you. But then, the shy girl reflected for a moment. She also seemed unwilling to express her true feelings to him now. So it wasn't entirely his fault. Do I need to take the initiative and do something? She blinked her eyes mischievously. Some quirky ideas began to form in her head. Jiang Rushue bit her lip lightly. She leaned into my ear and whispered, Brother, can you watch some TV with me? I was shocked to hear that. Jiang Rushue, be normal. I'm scared. Fong Yuan, I've given you too much face. Get over here and watch TV with me right now. That's much more normal. The annoyed girl reached her limit. She kicked me directly onto the sofa. Holy crap, domestic violence. Fong Yuan, knock it off. Who's in a domestic violence situation with you? This is a sister teaching her brother a lesson. After a long scuffle, both sat on the sofa, exhausted. Fong Yuan, if you bullied me one day less, would it kill you? I'm still injured. My foot hasn't even healed yet. The girl, whose foot had long since healed, grumbled. She pouted and stretched out her foot. Your injury isn't healed yet. You're just making excuses every day to get me to carry you. By now, you've long grown used to her acting pitiful. This is Jiang Rushue's innate skill, acting cute and adorable. Her eyes are bright and watery. Back when you were still naive, you were often fooled by this trick. But now that you've grown up, you're almost immune to it. It's just not better yet. Jiang Rushue touched her snowy white ankle. She blinked her eyes. Fong Yuan, what if it never gets better for the rest of my life? Would you carry me to school every day? Hearing this, I reached out to grab her foot. Jiang Rushue's eyes widened. Panic-stricken, she tried to run. Fong Yuan, whether my injury is better or not, you don't need to help me check. I feel like you're up to no good again. Does this look like you're injured? With a smile, you grabbed her hand. You, let go of me. In her panic, Jiang Rushue instinctively gave you a light kick. Holy crap, Jiang Rushue, are you for real? Fortunately, Jiang Rushue didn't use too much force. You only felt a slight pain. Not enough to knock a tooth out or anything. Are you okay? Jiang Rushue panicked. Now she didn't dare move at all. She leaned in and rubbed your face randomly with her hands. Hee, are you okay? I know how to control my strength. Serves you right for bullying me. Now you've got your comeuppance. Jiang Rushue said triumphantly with her hands on her hips. You kicked me once. Can I kick you once too? You narrowed your eyes. We said when we were kids, that everything has to be fair. I think that agreement should still be valid now. How do you still remember something from so long ago? Jiang Rushue's eyes widened. But that was a long, long time ago. How can you remember it so clearly? The girl pouted her little mouth. If you remember things from that long ago, do you still remember when we told each other we liked one another? Do those words still count? The shy girl's cheeks flushed slightly. She started thinking wildly in her heart. After thinking for a while, she felt it wasn't right. What does it matter if you remember? Or if you admit it? Anyway, he wouldn't like you. Those words on the plane. They were said in an emergency. They don't count. Jiang Rushue, I see guilt written all over your eyes. You haven't actually fallen for me, have you? You leaned in a bit closer. The distance between the two suddenly became very small. Jiang Rushue could clearly feel your warm breath. The girl suddenly felt flustered. If you say weird things like that again, I'll ignore you. Alright. Then tomorrow, can I not carry you out either? And not take you to school on my bike? You looked at her with a smile. Of course not. Fong Yuan, last time when we video called Uncle Chen and Auntie Chin, you clearly promised them you'd take good care of me. And, when we called my parents, you said it too. You're not allowed to go back on your word. Humph, anyway, my foot isn't better yet. I'm still a little patient. Jiang Rushua brandished her little fists. She said fiercely. As for the fact that the two were living together, both sets of parents already knew. Their expressions when they found out were similar, all having that subtle, knowing smile. But when you promised to take care of her, there was a strange sense of déjà vu, like in a TV drama. It seemed like many dramas and novels had this plot too. Go ahead and tell on me to my parents. See if they'll believe you. You spread your hands helplessly. Jiang Rushue, don't you have any self-awareness about your reputation? If I go tell your parents now that you're bullying me, they'll probably believe you instead. How do you know they won't believe me? Jiang Rushue immediately felt guilty. She remembered how she used to tattle on you often. At first, both sets of parents fully believed her. However, eventually, both your parents and hers began to realize something was off. Besides, who would want you? Do you think I'm a big pervert like you? Humph, are you going to watch TV with me or not? The guilty girl hurriedly changed the subject. Why does this conversation feel more and more weird? Are you acting spoiled? You looked at Jiang Rushue's current appearance in surprise. You were certain Jiang Rushue never had the skill of acting spoiled as a child. Do you need me to kick you before you'll watch it? Alright. But it wouldn't be so bad if you kicked me. Hearing this, Jiang Rushue's face was full of question marks. Fong Yuan, get lost. Who wants to kick you? Finally, the two of them picked a movie. The beginning was normal, but then things started getting strange. A pair of childhood friends went from pure friendship to pure friendship. When they started kissing on the screen, Jiang Rushue's head tilted, as if she had fallen asleep. You breathed a sigh of relief, calming your somewhat racing heartbeat. You turned your head to look at the girl with her eyes closed in quietude. A faint, sweet smile seemed to hang on the corners of her mouth. Her appearance gave you the sudden illusion that a kiss would definitely be sweet. Wait, why would you want to kiss Jiang Rushue? As soon as this thought appeared, you immediately suppressed it. Holy crap, how could you have such thoughts about this silly childhood friend? But it really did feel more and more unusual, recalling the coincidences that happened since meeting Jiang Rushue on the plane. In that life and death moment, this girl, so beautiful she made your heart race, told you through tears that she liked you. Looking at the girl who had fallen into a light sleep, a certain mist rose in your heart. You glanced at the girl beside you again. Jiang Rushue's breathing was steady. With her eyes closed, she seemed to have fallen into a deeper sleep. You stared at her cheek for a long while. As if possessed, you lowered your head, and gently kissed the girl's soft, fair cheek. The moment your lips touched her cheek, the girl's eyelashes seemed to tremble slightly, until you carried her in your arms and laid her on the bedroom bed. You left the bedroom. Only after the door closed did the girl, who had kept her eyes shut, suddenly open them. She reached out to cover her chest, gasping for breath. Her little feet kept kicking wildly on the bed. Fong Yuan, I'm back. Quick, come to the supermarket with me. I'm doing my homework. You big pig, are you coming with me? I'll cook you something delicious tonight. I'll even help you review, okay? Hee, who is actually helping whom review? Don't you know the answer to that? After the professional course midterms, in a few more days, it will be autumn break. You intended to spend the whole day reviewing, but you still couldn't say no to Jiang Rushue, so you went out with her. 2.5 weeks have passed since the stolen kiss incident. During this time, you've had a certain feeling. It feels like Jiang Rushue's attitude towards you has changed subtly since that day. As for what exactly changed, you can't quite put your finger on it. You wonder to yourself, seems like I should steal another kiss next time, to see if anything else changes. Fong Yuan, I reasonably suspect you're looking at me lecherously right now. At this moment, Jiang Rushue warily crossed her arms over her chest, covering her neckline, looking at you with unfriendly eyes. Sorry, you're so small. I'm not interested. Fong Yuan, say that again. That's a personal attack. And what right do you have to call me small? I'm not small at all, okay, really? I don't believe it, unless you let me see. After a battle of words, their bickering continued all the way. After returning from the supermarket, they were well fed and satisfied. Jiang Rushue indeed cooked a new dish. The taste made even picky you full of praise. You found Jiang Rushue's hands to be truly magical. Ordinary ingredients. But once they passed through Jiang Rushue's fair and soft little hands, they turned into fragrant and delicious dishes, while the dishes you tried to make yourself were always somewhat indescribable. Why do you keep staring at my hands? Jiang Rushue looked at you warily. This guy, since he finished eating, seems to have been staring at her hands. Does he want to do something with them? I just think your hands are magical. Let me study how you make such delicious food. Grabbing the girl's hand, you examined it closely. It looks just like any other. Isn't it just a bit smaller, a bit more tender and softer, and a bit fairer than your own? You were a bit puzzled, but didn't notice the girl next to you whose hand you were holding. Her cheeks were turning red without her realizing it. Fong Yuan, do you even know? You can't just touch a girl's body whenever you want. Looking at Jiang Rushue's pouting, angry, but pretty face, you weren't afraid at all. Instead, you found it strangely cute. Smiling, you said, you're actually quite cute today. Jiang Rushue froze. Why bring this up all of a sudden? I just think you're very cute. You reached out to tuck a stray lock of hair from her forehead. However, your hand accidentally touched the girl's soft earlobe. Huh, why are your ears so hot too? You discovered something new. Because you made me angry just now. Yes, it's all your fault for annoying me every day. Can't you make me a bit happier? The girl who was just praised as cute was actually feeling shy and happy inside, but she didn't want you to find out, so she could only lower her head with a red face, looking like a victim of bullying. You ate the food I made today, right? Then you have to repay me properly. Jiang Rushue remembered her main point. Hearing this, a bad premonition rose in your heart. Nothing too excessive. You quickly made a disclaimer. For example, if you want to invite me to sleep with you, I definitely won't agree. Who wants to sleep with you? You pervert. Didn't you fall asleep holding me while we watched a movie last time? That time doesn't count. I was only like that because I'm afraid of rain and thunder. Oh. You nodded while stroking your chin. So as long as it's raining and thundering at night, it's okay. Tell me your conditions. How do you want me to repay you? Looking at her with interest, help me review the general course questions tonight. The foreign language textbook is too hard. I don't understand it, okay? Eventually, you couldn't withstand her persistence, and reluctantly agreed. After dinner that night, seeing that you had no intention of tutoring her, she said a bit anxiously, "Oh, it's already dark. If we don't review now, it'll be too late." The girl stomped her feet. "And you idiot, don't you know we can cuddle while reviewing?" Since the last time Jiang Rushue found out you stole a kiss, her mind couldn't stop wandering. Why did you kiss her? Although she had done many intimate things with you, it was still within the boundaries of good friends. After all, kissing is something only couples do, and every time you flirt, you go back to being that annoying guy. It's impossible to tell what your actual attitude is. Curious, the girl decided to take a risk to find out. In Jiang Rushue's bedroom, you glanced at the pajamas she was wearing. You felt that today's pair was particularly loose and thin, as if she had specifically chosen them to tempt you. Your gaze uncontrollably fell on those faint, exquisite curves. Seeing this, the girl's cheeks couldn't help but blush. Over the next few days, you and Jiang Rushue reviewed together, often studying until 2:30 a.m., and subtle physical contact would frequently occur while studying, like palms touching, or accidental lip-to-lip moments. The exams were soon over. It was the first day of autumn break. Jiang Rushua got up early, dressing herself up in front of the mirror. Girls this age always love all kinds of pretty clothes. At Xia Yutong's suggestion, Jiang Rushua made a plan with you to travel to a nearby city. The coastline here is very beautiful. There are many other natural sights worth seeing. Both of them had lived in inland cities for a long time, and hadn't had much chance to see the sea. That's why Jiang Rushua was so excited. Of course, whether there were other reasons, only the girl herself knew. A coastal resort town. It's not very crowded this time of year. In a small seaside restaurant run by locals, the two, hungry all morning, feasted heartily. Full and satisfied, drink less. If you get drunk, I'll have to carry you to find a place to stay. Oh please, who gets drunk on Coke? Jiang Rushua gave you a playful glare. Besides, Coke is delicious. Why aren't you drinking any? Keeping in shape. Oh, just take a sip. It feels awkward drinking alone. Jiang Rushua didn't think twice. She raised the glass of Coke to feed you. She's in a good mood today. For some reason, she really wanted to feed you. However, the moment the rim touched your lips, her eyes suddenly widened. Oh no, looks like I messed up. Isn't this an indirect kiss? Jiang Rushua, you really don't treat me like an outsider. You've already drunk from this. Fine, it's all yours. Her gaze drifted to the glass you had just sipped from. The glass seemed to possess a magic now, tugging at her heartstrings. I don't mind you, yet you're acting like you mind me, and forcing me into an indirect kiss. You think you're in the right? How can you call that forcing? Jiang Rushua got defensive. How about you let me kiss you, and we'll call it even for everything before. A quick verbal combo left Jiang Rushua speechless. You're up to no good. The shy girl lowered her head and thought for a while, before saying aggrievedly, Fine, I'll pay you back. Then we're even. She raised the glass as if in defiance, aiming for the spot where your lips had touched. Using the exact same spot, she downed the rest of the Coke in one go. Now I don't owe you anything, right? A flash of joy crossed her eyes. If you looked closely, you could see a hint of cunning beneath that joy. Why do I feel like something's wrong? You frowned, sensing that things weren't so simple. After a while, having ruled out all other possibilities, you reached a conclusion that even you found strange. Holy crap, the hunter is actually my childhood friend. What are you thinking about? Let's go find a place to stay. The flustered girl hurriedly tried to hide her expression. Her voice lacked any confidence. Not sure if it was an illusion or real, but she felt a lingering faint fragrance in her mouth. 10 minutes later, the two arrived at a local guest house before evening. The receptionist told you there were only 2 rooms left. Let's share a room. To save money, Jiang Rushua said, pretending to think. She blinked. We spent so much money today, and the publisher hasn't paid me for my new book yet. My wallet is empty. Woo, you'll help me save money, right? Her voice sounded very sincere and pitiful. However, Jiang Rushua knew herself, that it was purely an excuse. And if the weather forecast was correct, it was going to rain heavily tonight. She'd be scared to death staying alone. Is it really to save money? You stroked your chin and looked at her suspiciously. Are you sure you're not just craving me? My mom said boys need to be careful when they're out. Craving you? In your dreams. Jiang Rushua blushed, and continued to voice her prepared excuse with a clear conscience. How about this one? It looks like a standard twin room. Besides, I heard the security around here isn't great. We should stay close while we sleep. In case some bad girl tries to do something to you, I can save you in time. Jiang Rushua even made herself laugh as she spoke. A second later, she returned to her serious expression. Do you think I'm a fool like you? If you want me, just say so. A mischievous smile played on your lips. You loved seeing Jiang Rushua act tough despite being so bad at it. Are you crazy? Jiang Rushua felt like kicking you. After some pointless bickering, Jiang Rushua gave up the struggle, and hurriedly checked in. After you took the key card and left, the receptionist suddenly gave a mysterious smile. She pulled an advanced Chinese grammar book out of her bag, because she wanted to know what craving meant. A moment later, however, she looked horrified. Oh my god, and hee. Now you know how capable I am. Hurry up and finish eating, then come for a walk with me, okay? After dinner, Jiang Rushua watched you as you continued to eat. Her face was full of pride. There weren't many restaurants near the guest house, and they were expensive. Not good value for money. Jiang Rushue's chef god skills came in handy again. There were some groceries in the guesthouse fridge. Some strange local ingredients. You couldn't even imagine what they would taste like cooked. Yet Jiang Rushue did a great job following online recipes. This dinner was a complete surprise to you. It's so late. Aren't you afraid of bad people outside? Although the local security is considered good for being abroad, compared to back home where you can go out for barbecue at 2 a.m., it's still hard to compare. What? Clearly you're the biggest bad person, the girl muttered in a voice only she could hear. Fine, fine. Risking my life for my childhood friend. The seaside is quite cold at night. Jiang Rushue's nose started running from the cold. You had reminded her to dress warmly before leaving. At the time, she stubbornly said it was so hot during the day. How cold could it get at night? I'm not cold, I'm not cold. Jiang Rushue pouted stubbornly. If you get sick later, I'll be the one taking care of you. When will you stop being so stubborn? Just as Jiang Rushue was about to talk back to you, the mocker, she suddenly felt a wave of warmth. Huh? What's going on? Why is it suddenly not cold anymore? She wondered where the clothes had come from. I just wore an extra layer. You knew she'd be freezing within 10 minutes. So you just wore 2 coats when you left. Look, this is the real ocean. When the vast, clear blue ocean finally came into view, excited Jiang Rushue jumped around. Like a rabbit. Be careful not to fall. You're so heavy. It's hard for me to catch you. You glanced at her, and said crossly, but while speaking, your hand was already positioned protectively behind her. I'm not heavy, Fang Yuan, don't you understand? I weigh 96.5 Jin right now. Standing 167 centimeters tall, can that even be considered heavy? I barely have any meat on my bones, okay? Hurry up and say it. Say I'm not fat or I'll be angry. Jiang Rushue whined coquettishly. You spread your hands, looking like you wanted to stir up trouble. I was indeed joking. You should eat more, to fill out your body. Fang Yuan, what exactly do you mean? Jiang Rushue was so angry her teeth itched. She grabbed your wrist and bit down. Your eyes widened. An argument is an argument. Why are you biting people? Humph. Because I hate you. As a counterattack. You rubbed her head vigorously. Do you really hate me that much? Subdued by your head rub, Jiang Rushue blinked. It seems you aren't that annoying after all. But then she pulled your other hand over, repeating the same motion, leaving a shallow little tooth mark in the same spot. Hee hee, now you're symmetrical again. What did you just call me? No, I didn't say anything. For some reason, the girl, having blurted out those words, flushed red with shame, and hurriedly ran towards the beach. You raised your hands, looking at the little tooth marks on your wrists, lost in thought. Only after a few seconds did you slowly follow. Fang Yuan, do you think the moon is more beautiful tonight, or the stars? But you subconsciously blurted out, I think you're the most beautiful. Jiang Rushue froze upon hearing this. Are you complimenting me? Just an occasional compliment. Otherwise, I'm afraid you'll run away. From an angle the girl couldn't see, gazing at the azure coast, a smile unconsciously curled on your lips. The next morning, Jiang Rushue sat on the bed in discomfort. It's likely because you were out in the wind too long last night. I told you the temperature drops at night, and to come back early, but you wouldn't listen. While speaking, you reached out to feel Jiang Rushue's forehead. No fever. Jiang Rushue clutched her stomach in pain, and said haltingly, I don't have a cold, I just feel a bit unwell. Then she sidestepped, getting up to rummage through the suitcase. But clearly, nothing was found. Finally, she looked at you with a panicked expression. Now you realized what was happening. Didn't bring any pads. I'll go buy some now. Though you successfully bought the pads at a nearby convenience store, it was the most difficult shopping trip since you went abroad. Not only did you have to use vocabulary outside your knowledge, but you also had to face the teasing gaze of the shop assistant. Back in the room, you tossed them to Jiang Rushue. I bought both day and night use for you. The girl bit her lip, her face flushed, and sneaked into the bathroom. You ignored her, and turned to go to the kitchen to cook. Since Jiang Rushue is indisposed today, now it's up to you to prepare some delicious food. However, as soon as you finished chopping a dish, the girl's surprised voice came from behind. Fang Yuan, your cooking is so bad. I don't want to go hungry. Jiang Rushue came up and tried to grab the knife from your hand. Doesn't your stomach hurt? Scientific research shows, pushing yourself while having a stomachache might lead to dropping dead. Where did you find such unreliable research? Hearing you say that, Jiang Rushua instantly chickened out. No way, I haven't kissed and hugged you yet. Dying now would be too much of a loss. Then this master chef will personally guide you. The girl whined and brought a small plastic stool to sit next to you. Looking quite like a head chef, she began her guidance. At dinner time, a light drizzle began to fall outside. This steak is so delicious. Your cooking skills have improved a lot. I thought you'd burn everything. Jiang Rushua ate the steak in small bites. You glanced at her. Eat normally if you want to. There are no outsiders here. Why are you eating like a lady? Jiang Rushua was a bit annoyed. I've always been like this. I've always been a lady. Since you're such a lady, then I won't hold back. You took large helpings of food, and ate in big mouthfuls. You're bullying me. I'm a patient, and you're still bullying me. Now the shameless Jiang Rushua stopped being a lady, and began to scramble for food with you. After finishing the meal, you got up and went to the kitchen to wash the dishes. Jiang Rushua's face was unusually pale today, so you naturally took over these chores. It seems I shouldn't let Jiang Rushua eat so many cold things in the future. Halfway through washing the dishes, the girl, who seemed to be writing in the living room, suddenly tiptoed into the kitchen, and sat down obediently behind you. Have you been possessed by Lin Dayu? This is so unlike Jiang Rushua. She's usually plotting something when she's this well-behaved. You remembered a love letter a girl at school once wrote to you, but as soon as the letter was stuffed into your bag, it was stolen by Jiang Rushua. For the following week, Jiang Rushua was terrifyingly well-behaved. Until the second week, you happened to comment that the girl giving the speech at the morning assembly was quite pretty, and then Jiang Rushua broke down. Her week of being well-behaved ended right there. As the rain outside grew heavier, a clap of thunder reached both your ears. Jiang Rushua trembled involuntarily. Her already pale face seemed to lose even more color. I lay there. You rubbed her head, as if realizing something. It was as if you suddenly understood why Jiang Rushua was so well-behaved today. Sure enough, after clearing the dishes, Jiang Rushua immediately became a clingy little thing. No matter where you went, she would follow right behind you. Seeing you sitting on the sofa, she stealthily followed you over. Fong Yuan, is anyone sitting next to you? Can I sit beside you? Jiang Rushua winked playfully, asking what she already knew. It's taken, you said while looking down at your phone, as you answered. Who is it? Jiang Rushua pouted petulantly. This guy never plays by the rules. At a time like this, shouldn't you gently say, no one, baby, please sit down. My childhood sweetheart is here. You thought for a moment, but since you always claim to be my older sister, you probably aren't my childhood sweetheart. Who says I'm not? I am your childhood sweetheart. And a gentle, super cute one at that. So this seat is mine, hee hee. Jiang Rushua happily sat down beside you. Wait, what do you mean by yours? Jiang Rushua only realized something was off a beat after sitting down. Her face turned even redder. I don't know either. I was just talking nonsense. You smiled and shrugged. You're just bullying me. Jiang Rushua gave you a kick, but she didn't use much force this time. After all, you made her a delicious steak today. The thunder outside grew louder. Hearing the sound, Jiang Rushua shivered involuntarily. She reflexively huddled into your arms. Your expression stiffened, but you didn't move. But your body temperature began to rise unconsciously. Fong Yuan, it's raining tonight. We can't go out for a walk. So, should we do something together? Jiang Rushua looked at you, then at the big bed in the room. A faint trace of guilt flashed in her eyes. On a thundery night, I definitely wouldn't be able to sleep alone. But if I'm with you, I probably won't be scared. Thinking of this, Jiang Rushua immediately began faking a stomach ache in front of you. My stomach is killing me. Big brother, can you carry me to the bed and rub it for me? Clearly, you were a sucker for this. After carrying Jiang Rushua over, you sat naturally by her side, and helped massage her. The thunder was loud that night, but Jiang Rushua felt strangely at ease. Because Jiang Rushua's period had arrived, the trip that was supposed to last several more days ended early. After returning, Jiang Rushua went to see her cousin, Muxia. She wanted to recap the trip. Jiang Rushua believed her sister would definitely be able to help her. Xia, why are your dark circles so noticeable? You look exhausted. Don't even mention it. Muxia went on a date last night, but that jerk played Naruto all night. And he even made her wear a Kuratsuchi outfit. So annoying, Mushiya waved her hand helplessly. Jiang Rushua blinked. She asked curiously, Shia, are you in a relationship? Of course not. Mushiya panicked slightly. Then she quickly changed the subject. Tell me about you. What's going on with you and your childhood friend? Jiang Rushua had told her yesterday to meet at the cafe today, specifically for this matter. Jiang Rushua stammered. She fidgeted, poking her fingers shyly. Before she even started talking, her little face had already turned bright red. Mushiya swore to God that since Jiang Rushua was born, she had never seen her look this bashful. Realizing Jiang Rushua had been hanging out with you lately, she was instantly shocked. Wait, are you pregnant? Oh, Shia, what are you talking about? Fong Yuan and I didn't do that. Jiang Rushua quickly interrupted Mushiya, before she could say anything even more outrageous. How could we have a baby so soon? We're not even together yet. Jiang Rushua blushed, lowering her head deep, suddenly feeling a bit guilty. Then why are you acting so strange? So, what exactly happened between you two? Mushiya looked at Jiang Rushua suspiciously. Shia, let me tell you everything from the beginning. You're not allowed to laugh. Actually, nothing too excessive happened. Go ahead, I'll help you. Mushiya nodded. It seemed she was just overthinking it. 2.5 hours later, however, after hearing the story, Mushiya was immersed in the shock Jiang Rushua gave her. She nearly fainted. How did it go from holding hands to sleeping in the same bed? Why didn't he just sleep at home? She thought she could be Jiang Rushua's love mentor, but her little sister was already speeding down the road of love without realizing it. You're doomed, Jiang Rushua. You're head over heels in love. After a long while, Mushiya waved her hand tiredly. Looking completely drained of life, she walked away. Jiang Rushua watched Mushiya's back in confusion. Never mind, I'll ask her next time. Sure enough, her love secrets were too difficult. Even her experienced sister was at a loss. On the way back, Jiang Rushua finalized the follow-up matters with the publisher. By accident, she discovered that the artist illustrating her novel was actually you. So she immediately listed a bunch of messy demands. As punishment for you never confessing your feelings to her. After she got home, you grabbed her as soon as she opened the door. Jiang Rushua, I took such good care of you during our trip. Now it's time for you to return the favor. I've taken a big commission. I need a real childhood sweetheart to be my model. Jiang Rushua's triumphant smile instantly turned into a look of misery. Why should I be your drawing model? Jiang Rushua's face turned beet red with shame. She had read a novel where a girl was a model for a boy, and in the end, they actually had 11 children. Jiang Rushua, what kind of person do you take me for? You glanced at her. I'm a gentleman. Everything I'm asking is strictly business. If you want to blame someone, blame the author who placed the order. I feel like they're a bit out of their mind. Even for a published book cover, there's no need to send over 30 requirements. And they want both 2D and 3D styles emphasized equally. They want an authentic childhood friend vibe. I have no other choice. You're my only childhood friend. Just tell me, will you help or not? If not, I'll just have to pay for a model online. Hearing about finding someone else, Jiang Rushua immediately agreed. Come on, go change into white stockings for me. With that, you pulled Jiang Rushua into the bedroom. Jiang Rushua hugged herself with both hands, looking completely resistant. Fong Yuan, I knew you were up to no good, but this is what the client requested. You kept rambling while pointing at a requirement on your phone. Meanwhile, Jiang Rushua was crying silently inside. Why did she make up so many strange requests to send you earlier? She only requested the girl in the drawing wear white silk stockings. Why is she the one wearing them now? After finishing, Jiang Rushua looked at you with a blushing face. Fong Yuan, please don't make any more unreasonable requests. She felt you were being very strange tonight. The atmosphere was strange, too. Something between the childhood friends felt different than before. And she doesn't have her period to protect her right now. She doesn't want to have 11 children with you. This is all for the sake of the drawing. I have no choice either. You handed the screen to Jiang Rushua again. Looking at the requirements she had written herself, Jiang Rushua felt her face burning up. To increase your workload, one of the requirements emphasized high detail, especially difficult parts like fingers and toes. Now, Jiang Rushua regretted it deeply. Could she withdraw all those unreasonable requests? She didn't dare to be playful anymore. You're not allowed to keep staring at me while you draw. There's no other way. She really seemed to owe you a lot of favors. Jiang Rushue sat shyly on the sofa, striking a pose. A shy blush was on her face. Then, you brought up another requirement that nearly made her faint. Add bunny ear elements to the girl in the picture. Then, you handed her the bunny ears. I'm not wearing that. I won't. Jiang Rushue looked like a pitiful little rabbit, her face full of refusal. If I can't see the real thing, I really can't visualize the composition. Maybe I should ask the publisher to give me the author's contact information. Your sighing expression made Jiang Rushue's pupils tremble with shock. Her eyes filled with panic. You absolutely cannot have that contact information. Absolutely not. Jiang Rushue immediately grabbed the bunny ears and put them on. You were very satisfied. Very good. Now all that's left is the bunny tail. The requirements also mentioned capturing the authentic atmosphere between childhood friends. Our current atmosphere isn't authentic enough. We need to do something to develop it. Like what? Jiang Rushue suddenly had a bad feeling.